Hey guys, C-Man235 here. So, I'm gonna say something that might offend some of you. It might be controversial. You might even hate me for the rest of the time, but it needs to be said. Alright? This to me is just... It has to be said. I have to share my voice with all of you. I need to share with you guys something. Microsoft and Bethesda's E3 conference for this year, 2021. I thought it was fucking horrifying. It was fine. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just fine. So yeah, E3, it's back, and as I usually do whenever there is an E3 to be had, there are E3 videos which are like 5 months late for me that nobody watches because people have already moved on. So I'm gonna try my damnedest to get all of them out before the end of July at the very least. Though, to be honest here, I'm probably not going to be doing every conference like I used to do, because to me it's just so much work for a guy who doesn't even like editing, nor is he very good at it in general. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Microsoft one, I'm going to do a Nintendo one, and a Sony one. But the others, I'm just going to like cover any other extra stuff like in a other video. Excuse me. I'm just going to cover everything else in, like, another video. Like a fourth video, sort of cap off everything. But Microsoft and Bethesda, or Microthesda, as I'm going to coin that term, I want to trademark. Unless, of course, Microsoft takes it, which I guess, okay, fine, I can't win in court, so fine, they can take it. But credit me, damn it. But yeah, Microthesda had their conference. I did see Square's, which I thought was okay. A lot of people said it was trash, which, you know, I mean, it wasn't anything noteworthy, but I don't think it was bad. I have yet to see Ubisoft's, but that's just because I'm not interested in Ubisoft. But I'm going to save Square and Ubisoft and Capcom and so many others for, like, a fourth final video, you know? Just a last video to cap off E3. I already have to do the big three anyway. I have to give them their own video. They have to. It has to be done. But yeah, so my history with Microsoft E3s, if you don't want to go back and watch older videos of mine, which I don't blame you, Microsoft is either unbelievably atrocious or just okay. There's really no in-between, but they're usually pretty underwhelming in some way, and that's been the case for a while now. I haven't seen all of their E3s, but I've seen a good chunk of them, and they've usually been fine, okay, nothing amazing. That's really been kind of how I thought of Microsoft with E3, and yeah, even with Bethesda by their side, they still don't have much. A lot of people are saying, oh, this saved the Xbox brand for me. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's probably one of their best conferences, to be honest. But I feel it's more because of the fact that it's a digital conference. There's not as much talking heads, which I prefer, to be honest. Like, one of the annoying things about any conference was there usually, at times, I get bored because there's just way too much talking, and it's usually just investor talk. This will be revolutionary, and will change the way you play, and will bring people together, and it's just words for investors. That's all it is. Which, you know, is fine. I understand these are made more for investors, not so much for fans. I mean, it is made for fans as well, but it's more for investors. Let's not kid ourselves here. It's made for money. But at the same time, it's just one of those where it just breaks the pace of the conference for somebody like me, and I'd rather just get to the good stuff. And to be fair, even though I thought pacing was a bit uneven at times, despite being a digital event, the talking heads really didn't get bad until Forza, which I'll talk about. I'm going to be going over each of the games that were announced, but I'm probably not going to spend that much time on them, either because I forgot. Again, since the pacing was uneven, I kind of tuned out. I'll get into why I did during the final thoughts part. I'm just going to go over everything I thought, everything in order, pretty much, which is rare for me, because I don't think I ever do that for any of my E3 videos. I usually just talk about whatever's listed, but this time it's in order, so... I'm slightly more professional this year, don't you know? So yeah, the first thing on my list is Todd Coward, which is not a game I know, but I'm surprised with the reputation Todd has now that they're willing to showcase him on the show floor, considering stuff, And there's another thing that Bethesda showed off here that I'm surprised they're still trying to save, but, that aside, yeah, Todd was in it.
And one of the great things about having a fully dynamic game engine is all of this just works.
I love you, Todd. I'm joking, I don't love you at all. Get off of the fucking stage. Okay, that was more of a personal thing.
And again, it just works.
But yeah. Anyway, the first actual game that was shown off was Starfield, which we got a CG trailer. No gameplay. Fascinating. Probably the most gameplay we saw of Starfield was probably the most substantial info we got was it'll be a buggy mess at launch because it's once again using the creation engine. So yeah, modders, be prepared to fix up the game's bugs. I cannot wait for that to happen again. But yeah, Starfield was shown off. It's an Xbox exclusive. I thought it was supposed to be for PS4 and PS5 as well. More so for PS5. But I thought it was supposed to be for PS5 as well, but I guess not. Oh, it's probably going to be on a PC as well, so... yeah. Cool. I guess. I understand why they did it. They want to give... I know console exclusivities piss people off. Even first-party ones. But keep in mind, they do sell consoles. You don't have to like them, but at the same time, there is a reason for why they are. Back to Starfield. I know console exclusivity pisses people off, but there's a reason why they do it. I kind of expected this would happen, and I was right. So it's good to know they lied about Starfield coming to Sony platforms. I'm not sure if Elder Scrolls 6 will be that way as well. Oh, by the way, that wasn't shown off. I knew it wouldn't be, but still, I knew it would happen, but I'm sure people are pissed, and I'm not going to say they don't have a right to be, because they probably do. But I knew it would happen, so. But yeah, no gameplay, nothing to say. So next up is Stalker 2, which... see, this is where I would say, it's not bad. What we saw was gameplay and cutscene footage, so that was cool. But at the same time, it's just one of those where it's just I'm not interested. It's just another shooter for Microsoft. People say, I've heard some people on Twitter say, you drop that right now. Microsoft has so much more variety. They have proven that Xbox is a valuable brand. And I'm just no. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy an Xbox. Hell, I fucking have an Xbox One X, so... It's just another shooter. We have, Gears of War and Halo. When they were going over their Xbox exclusives, the reason you buy a console, half of them were shooters. So it's just sort of okay, and... there's, a Forza in there somewhere, but, nothing else. It wasn't bad, apparently it's a sequel. I don't remember the first Stalker, so I'm sure it's good for people who liked the first one. I don't know anything about it, so that's probably not a good sign, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. I'm not saying it was bad. It was just considering how this was shown off at Microsoft's conference. I don't understand, like, is it really, I don't know. Then again, I don't know who's making it. I thought, no, I think Microsoft is making it, unless I'm wrong. Maybe it's not Microsoft, maybe it's a third party. I'm sorry for my ignorance. Keep in mind, there will be bias with some of these videos. I will fully admit that I am more excited for what Sony and Nintendo are going to show off, not so much Microsoft or Bethesda. So if I get something wrong, I apologize for the ignorance, but keep in mind, there are shitloads of games being announced. If I got something wrong, just politely let me know in the comments. But yeah, Stalker 2, I mean, it was better than most because it was gameplay, and it was good gameplay from what I saw. It's just, I've seen enough of this type of game to last me an entire lifetime, so. Speaking of which, Back 4 Blood. I thought this game already came out, and I guess I was wrong, but I don't know. Sometimes these are kind of a blur. To be fair, COVID probably didn't help because we had an entire year without E3, so it kind of feels like I'm seeing the game back-to-back at E3s, which I am, but that's because we skipped a year because of a pandemic. So that's not really, I guess that's not really Back 4 Blood's fault, but yeah, it's a Left 4 Dead clone made by the creators, and it definitely looks like Left 4 Dead, so they're doing a very good job. I am happy it was gameplay. Most of it was. I'm pretty sure most of it was. I mean, I've never played Left 4 Dead, but I hear it's really good, and if this is really good, then cool. Probably one of the better showings at this conference, to be honest. Contraband. Okay, I'll be fully honest here. I forgot about it. I was very on and off with this conference. Sometimes I paid attention, sometimes I didn't. There were things I remembered, and there might be things I forget. This would not be the first time. This probably won't be the last. I apologize in advance, and I kind of don't at the same time. But yeah, Contraband. It was at this conference. I know that for a fact. Next up is Rare's title, Sea of Thieves, with a crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean. Captain Jack Sparrow himself. Cool. I don't play Sea of Thieves, but it makes sense. I hear Sea of Thieves has content now, which is an improvement over what it was at launch. It's had content for quite a number of years now. That's all I know about it. We got, like, an entire Yakuza announcement. I don't know if Yakuza was on Xbox. I'm going to assume no, because Japan, Microsoft is, like, dead as a company in Japan. So I'm going to assume this is them releasing all of the Yakuza games on Xbox One for Game Pass and for, like, actually releasing them on Xbox. I don't know if that's true. I apologize if I kind of forgot whether it was for just Xbox or Game Pass, or both. But, you know, cool. It's coming to more platforms. I hear Yakuza is a great series. Like a Dragon is still fucking ridiculous, and I kind of want to play the game because of it. Seriously, I really have to play Yakuza. It does seem like a franchise I would enjoy. Anyway, after Yakuza, we got Battlefield 2042, I believe it's called. It's Future Battlefield. I mean, does any... See, I don't understand this. After a highly divisive title, why do what Call of Duty did, where it had a very contentious title like Call of Duty Ghosts, and then they had Advanced Warfare, where they just went to the future, and nobody liked it because it was not what people wanted from Call of Duty. Why is Battlefield doing the exact same, I wonder? It didn't work for Call of Duty, why would it work for you? I know Battlefield is very different from Call of Duty. Battlefield is much more open, whereas Call of Duty is much more linear. I know it's not the same thing. Trust me, I'm aware. I watch The Act Man, I swear. But the point is, I don't understand why they're doing the whole futuristic thing. I mean, to be fair, it looked cool, but at the same time, it's just sort of like, why? I don't know, it's weird. I mean, maybe it'll be good. I mean, I'm certainly not hoping for it to be bad. But, yeah, it's just sort of weird how they're taking the Call of Duty route, where after a highly contentious title, they decide to go to the future for their next main installment. It's just sort of weird. So anyway, Psychonauts 2. I keep forgetting that this one isn't out either. And that's because I see it at, like... I've seen it at, like, half of the most recent E3s nowadays. from Microsoft. Like, from, like, 2017 onwards, it feels like. But yeah, Psychonauts 2 is still coming out. It looks good. So, I don't know. They didn't show much of it, probably because they've shown so much of it. But it probably was good to get a reminder of its existence. So, you know. They advertised a lot of these games coming to Game Pass, which I hear is a pretty good deal. I don't own Game Pass. I'm probably not going to. I'd rather own a physical product. I'm kind of a... Even if I buy it digitally, I technically don't own it. Even if I own a disc, I don't technically own a PS4 game, I know. But, like, I don't know, there's a part of me that prefers buying a game over, you say, streaming it or renting it via a streaming service. It's something I prefer. I'm kind of a boomer or millennial. I hear that's sort of the new boomer. I don't know what I am. I don't care. I can't keep up with these young people and their stupid lingo. Yeah, I said stupid. But yeah, Game Pass. All of the titles are coming to Game Pass, which I think is pretty cool. I hear it's a good deal, and this will make it a better deal. So, cool. What is not so cool is afterwards, they talked about Fallout 76 again. Why are we still talking about this fucking game? It's getting expansions, and I'm just like, do people even care at this point? I feel like it's just, let it go. Like, it's done. I don't know. Like, I haven't kept up with it. Watch. I'm gonna find out it's super fucking popular now. But, like, why? Why are we still on about... I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I haven't really kept up with it, but, like... Apparently, it's one of the most downloaded games from Game Pass, but I think it's probably because, well, I have Game Pass, I might as well try it out and see how bad it is. But it's just like, is anyone really playing it? Does anyone really care? I don't know. I don't hear anyone talk about it anymore. So it's like, why do you keep trying to save this? It's, at this point, I'm pretty sure it's unsalvageable. But, whatever. But whatever, Elder Scrolls Online is getting another expansion. I don't play it, I don't really play MMOs, and even if I wanted to, I wouldn't start with that. I hear it's popular. Cool for those who want an expansion. Afterwards, we got Party Animals. Am I the only one who gets Fall Guys vibes from this? I'm not sure if it was made by the same people or not. Watch, I'm gonna find out it was. But I don't know if it was or not, but I seriously get some Fall Guys influence from here. In all seriousness, though, kind of creeped me out, just because of the way they were animated, which, to be fair, is how they should be. It's actually a really good-looking game, but at the same time, like, the way the dolls look kind of freaks me out, in a way. I'm very easy to scare, I will fully admit, but, like... it's a thing. It didn't really leave much of an impression on me. Hades is coming to Xbox One physically, I believe, and it's also coming to Game Pass. Cool. Hades, I hear, is a great game, so cool. I don't really know why you had to give it a spot in E3, but whatever. Somerville? I think I misspelled it Someville. I forgot about this one too. I'm doing great. I'm a professional, don't you know? IGN should hire me. Okay, this one I remember. Halo Infinite. So, this actually has a lot to it, so I'm gonna put the list down for a sec. Halo Infinite does look better than how it did before. We got a bit of story, kind of, which... sounds interesting from what I've read from the Halo 5 synopsis. There's also some new gameplay shown. They didn't really show much of the single player. They showed a little bit. They showed enough, but they didn't show as much as we probably thought they would. They did show a lot of the multiplayer, which looks good. I don't know if it will be, but it looks good. Something I really like, however, is the multiplayer is actually going to be free to play, but the single player is going to be like, it's going to come with everything and it's going to be full price. This is an interesting idea, and I actually think, because one of the problems shooters have nowadays, especially those with campaigns, most people don't give it the time of day. And I think having a freemium option for those who just want to play the multiplayer and having the full game come with an actual, like, cool campaign, and that sort of be like the full price game, it's an interesting idea. I'm worried it might be abused for the sake of making the multiplayer pay to win or with microtransactions and shit. But let's hope for the best. Point is, it's an interesting idea, and let's be honest here. Most people who play multiplayer with shooters, they don't even touch the campaign. Like, there's a reason why COD just got rid of the campaign. Like, I know a lot of people bitched about the fact that they did, but there's a reason why they did. Nobody plays it. Don't say, oh, well, I play it. Great. I'm happy you enjoy them. How many people actually play it? I'm not even saying the campaigns are bad. They could be really good, for all I know. But, like, after Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2? Does anyone really play the campaigns anymore? I'll admit, I'm not really a Call of Duty guy. I haven't really played many of the games, but does anyone play the campaign? Anyone? I don't know anybody who talks about it besides Ataman. And I guess Angry Joe. But it's just one of those where I don't see anybody talk about it, so. So this, I think, would be a good way to cater to both players. It also allows for the single player to sort of stand on its own and be bigger as a result, especially since I hear this Halo game is going to be open world, which is an interesting direction for an FPS campaign. So it does seem like an interesting idea. Not sure how it's going to be executed, but here's hoping. I don't know what the consensus is on looks, because I know Halo Infinite looked pretty bad at launch, well, not at launch, but like when it was first revealed. It looks a lot shinier, looks a lot better. I'm not sure if it's truly next gen, however. I would have to look at comparisons videos and, get a better idea. But to me, at least, it looked better. So I don't know if that's the popular opinion or not. I thought, at least for multiplayer stuff, it looked better. Anyway, so yeah, Halo Infinite. I think it's shaping up to be pretty good. Hopefully it will be good. Kind of put Halo back up on the map it was at before Halo 4 happened. So, afterwards we got Diablo 2 Remake. I am sorry to those who were hoping for Diablo 4. After Diablo Immortal. Oh, that was a fiasco. I don't know how people are going to react to that. I don't know. I don't play Diablo. I have no opinion. There's a Plague Tale Requiem. I remember seeing this. I think it was mostly CG. I don't really remember much about it, so I don't really care. Far Cry 6. It's from Ubisoft. My favorite company right now, especially after the allegations against them. Oh, I mean, it definitely looks like a Fallout, a Far Cry game, and an Ubisoft title. Not sure how I feel about Ubisoft right now. I'll get back to you on that when I eventually cover them. But yeah, Far Cry 6. It's a Far Cry game. Slime Rancher 2. I don't know if I misspelled that or not. I think it said that. Apparently it's a sequel to a game I've never heard of. I don't really have any opinions on it. I remember it, but I don't know, there's nothing memorable. This was actually a common problem for me. A lot of these games are sequels to games I've never heard anyone talk about. I don't know. I feel like I'm offending people who play these games. I apologize. I don't mean for the ignorance, but, like, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about any of these. Does anyone really talk about them? Are they indie games I don't know about? I don't know. Yeah. It looks fine, I guess. It's kind of a common theme with Microsoft. There's a snowboarder game. I forget, Shredders, something like that. I don't know, the logo was stupid. It's a snowboarding game, it doesn't look interesting. Atomic Heart. Do I remember this one? No, I don't. I'm doing great. Replaced. Okay, this actually caught my eye. So, Replaced is sort of like a 2D cyberpunkish, not the game, like a cyberpunk in terms of genre. It's sort of a weird sci-fi game, but it has this really interesting art style to it that made it stand out. It's like a 2D beat-em-up sort of thing. I don't know much about the people behind it, or I don't remember too much about the surrounding details, like who made it or something, but the art style and the gameplay caught my attention. It does look pretty interesting. I might keep an eye out for it. I'm going to assume with the title of Replaced, it's about some kind of android that's being replaced. You know, I just remembered Atomic Heart. I remembered it because it had this weird song, and they slowed it down for when an android was attacking the player character. And turns out it did have gameplay, but I can't bring myself to remember my thoughts on it. I know it's a weird fucking... I just derailed this entire video, but, like, it's bothering me now. So I'm gonna move on. But yeah, Replaced. Interesting. Probably not so interesting to where I'm gonna buy it, because I'm weird. But it definitely looked interesting. It caught my eye. So that's a good sign. Grounded Expansion, which is made by... Grounded was made by Obsidian. It was sort of like this Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sort of game, where the kids were shrunken down, and they had to sort of travel this environment as a really small... essentially, you're playing as a shrunken kid in, like, a backyard. That's essentially what the game is. I mean, it's getting expansions. Cool. I don't know what to say other than cool. Obsidian made it, and they're a good company, so it's probably a good game. Among Us is a thing on Xbox. Does anyone play Among Us anymore? I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I am interested, but does anyone play it anymore? Euden Chronicles. I probably horribly butchered this. This kind of reminded me of, what was it? What was the fucking thing? Alright, I found the name is Octopath Traveler. That's what it reminds me of. And, as a result, it looks really good. In fact, I would argue it kind of looks better in some ways. I don't think that's the exact art style they're going for, but either way, I liked the look of it. Looked really cool. I don't have anything else to say other than that. I just really like games of that style, because they pretty. So, we have The Ascent. I forgot about this one too. Age of Empires 4, which was revealed. I don't play Age of Empires, so I have no opinion. Also, they didn't show any gameplay, really. Though, I'm not sure what there is to show. I don't know, I don't play Age of Empires. Now, this was pretty good. The Outer Worlds 2 was announced here, which is a good reveal, but the trailer was actually really funny. It makes fun of a lot of the cliches I hate about CG gaming trailers, and I think that's brilliant. And unlike, say, if it came from Bethesda, I would fucking hate it, but it's coming from Obsidian, who showed up Bethesda, which makes it even funnier. So, to Obsidian, like, good job just for that trailer alone. But yeah, The Outer Worlds, I heard, was a fantastic Fallout ripoff, made by the people who made Fallout, so you know what? It might as well be Fallout. I hear it was fantastic, so cool. It's getting a sequel, and it's probably gonna be Xbox exclusive. Oh well. It's funny how Obsidian and Bethesda are now both owned by Microsoft, so that's interesting. Oh, we got Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's definitely a flight sim, and I think they have like a Medal of Honor kind of thing, crossover, or some kind of military movie thing. It's a movie, I know that, but like, yeah, it's a flight sim. I'm sure it's fine. Forza! This went on for a bit too long. They tried to do the whole thing where they had developers and voice actors come in and pretend to be gamers. And I'm not saying they aren't, but they're just not very convincing as, like, gamers who are friends playing the game together. They're not very good. I'm sorry. I never like it when they do this because it's so obviously phoned in. Like, the only time it really works, oddly enough, is Nintendo, because it seems like people are actually having fun, even if they're being paid to make the game look good. There's actual enthusiasm. I get none of that here. I'm sorry. I'm sure the people are actual gamers. I'm sure they're wonderful people. They're just not wonderful actors, or they're not very good at selling me on this in particular. I'm really sorry. I sound like a condescending prick, and I probably am. But that's just how I feel. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting how they're having an open world. I'm not sure if that was done in previous Forzas. I'm going to assume no. But it's Forza. It looks pretty. It definitely looks pretty. But it went on a bit too long. They have, like, developer interviews. That was, like, probably the most poorly placed part of an otherwise pretty poorly paced conference, to be honest. Very odd, but whatever. At least they saved it for the end, I guess. And then we have Redfall, which is Bethesda's new original title, which I have no idea what it is because it's just CG. Cool. It didn't do anything for me, it's CG. So yeah, those were all of the announcements, and as you could tell, I'm pretty indifferent to most of it. I will admit there is some bias here, but even without the bias, there was a tweet I found on Twitter about Microsoft's conference saying it was a great movie conference. And yeah, that's probably how I felt. I was pretty bored throughout a lot of parts of it. In fact, I started watching it when I first woke up at like 5, and I didn't finish it until 9 because I was watching other stuff and doing other stuff. I constantly nodded off. I constantly went off to my phone because I was kind of bored. This is a post-recording from, like, a day after, a couple, like, I think, yeah, a day after or so, I recorded this. But I just realized Bethesda really didn't do much. Like, what did we have? We had, I don't know if it was a CG trailer. I took a look at the trailer for Starfield. Again, it might be in-game engine stuff. I think it's CG. I think it's a bit too ambitious to be in-game footage, but I could be wrong. But we got CGI for Starfield. We got a thing for Elder Scrolls Online, which was, you know, an MMO. Kind of hard to make that interesting. We got CGI for Redfield, and we have actual stuff for Fallout 76. We didn't really get much else other than cutscene CGI stuff. And Fallout 76, the game everybody hated, was what we got more of. That's wrong. I wanted to stress this again. I'm not sure if this will be... This is another post-recording update thing. I'm not sure if this will be in it or not. I might have it here just in case. I want to stress right now, the reason why I didn't really care for Microsoft's and Bethesda's E3 showing here is mostly just because most of the announcements don't really excite me. They don't really... Again, I haven't even heard of half of these franchises that are getting sequels. Some of these things were just kind of pointless, like Hades and Yakuza. I don't understand why they didn't just make a highlight reel of games coming to Game Pass instead of just wasting our time with games we've already played at this point coming to Game Pass. I mean, I don't mind them being here, but the way they were presented kind of felt odd, especially for Hades, because that's one game. At least with Yakuza, it makes sense because they have, like, the entire series. But, like, Hades in particular, like, why? I know that was really popular, but still. I don't know, it just felt weird to me. But yeah, a lot of this stems from lack of interest as well, and I just don't feel like Microsoft has the variety of first-party games they think they have, despite buying a bunch of studios. You know, I still feel like they were lacking. On top of it, even if we didn't get a whole lot of CGI like I thought, we still got a lot of cutscenes, like Stalker 2, like 50% of that was cutscenes. There were times where we got cutscene trailers, and that was pretty much it. And it's just sort of like, it really does feel like a movie showcase at times. Some things could have been paced better. I feel Forza should have been half the time. I don't know. But keep in mind, there is a bit of ignorance and bias here. A lot of these franchises I haven't even heard about, so that should say something. So, yeah, just thought I'd get that off my chest. The pacing was off, and the announcements were just sort of to me. I don't know. If they did something for you, cool. I mean, I guess their variety's a little better, but I don't really think it's much better, to be honest. And Bethesda being here really didn't do anything to help alleviate that. If anything, it just gave Microsoft more shooters, which I already felt like they had enough of them. Game Pass was cool, Halo was cool, Psychonauts was revealed again, and a couple of other stuff was cool. Outer Worlds 2 was really funny. I liked that. In fact, that trailer kind of sums up a lot of Microsoft's conference for me. But yeah, I mean, Microsoft, they're about as good as they always are, and Bethesda didn't really improve, but it didn't take away. If there's one thing I will say, even though it took me a while to get through all of it, it was pretty short because of the fact that it was a digital event. You know, there is something good about not having so many talking heads that literally double the conference's length, and it's just ridiculous. Like, I think the last Microsoft conference was like 2.5 hours, and this was like 1.5, which is much better in my opinion. And it's probably because they didn't have that many people talking in a stage. I mean, they had a stage, but it was very low budget in compared to what they usually do for E3. But to be honest, I kind of preferred it because it kept the games going. But even the announcements were just really uneven, and some of them were just uninteresting, and a lot of it was games that were already announced or games that have already released, and now people are just saying, now Microsoft is saying, hey, they're coming to Xbox. Like, I count a lot of them, like, all of the Yakuza games, you know, Hades, it's just, let's see, stuff we already got announced before, like, we knew they were gonna have Forza, Microsoft Flight Sim, which they already announced, who cares, you know, we already had, Among Us was another one that, you know, already, like, we're gonna play it on PC. So, like, who cares? Fallout 76 already came out. We're just getting expansions, and, like, why Fallout 76? I don't know, it's just, to me, like, there were a lot of, it was either CGI, stuff that was already released, and didn't really get much new. We got expansions for some of them, though I wish we didn't see some of them, like Fallout 76. I'm not gonna let that go. So it was either CG, games that were already announced, or games that just were sequels to games I've never heard of. So, you know, it's just one of those where, I don't know, I feel like Microsoft, they tried their best with what they had, but I feel like they didn't have as much to show as they could have. You know, you want to know what also would have helped? I think more of single-player Halo would have been good as well. Like, show us more of the improvements you've made. Compare it to the old footage. To sell people on it, you know? Because that was one of the main critiques when Halo Infinite was first revealed. And, you know, now we're getting... They were essentially performing an update on it. And, you know, like, I don't know, it's just... Microsoft didn't do much for me. I mean, this is how they usually are. Microsoft, again, is either bad or underwhelming, and this one was just sort of underwhelming. due to the lack of talking heads and Bethesda giving some, I stress, some variety, it's a little better, but it's not better by much. Also, of course, no Elder Scrolls, which... That game is... When was that game announced? Like, Elder Scrolls 6 was announced how long ago, and we still haven't seen jack about that game? I understand they probably want to advertise Starfield, but they just showed a CG trailer. So, like, we're probably not even gonna get Elder Scrolls 6 until, like, the tail end of this console generation, I'm gonna guess. It's kinda sad. Yeah. So yeah, that was Microsoft's conference. I didn't really care about it too much. It was fine, but it wasn't great. But I want to stress something, it wasn't a horrible conference. So if you're, like, gonna say, oh, how dare you hate this one, I didn't hate it, I just thought it was fine. I will admit there is a bit of a bias because most of the games that are here are not as interesting, but even just the way they presented some of them could have been better, and some of them I feel like could have been swapped out for just more footage of the newer stuff that could have been interesting, or should have been more interesting, or instead of showing CG for Starfield, maybe show gameplay. Because we've been waiting for a while, so... I don't know, just my thoughts. Comment down below if you feel differently, I guess. I am the Seaman235, signing out. I hope you have a good day.